were in the UK, you were investing in these companies, it sounds like US based, Europe, maybe globally. What was it about Chicago that you saw, maybe some of the characteristics, maybe both positive and constructive in a way?
Yeah, so as a Chicago tech outsider, until maybe 2014, I honestly was getting on with my day job. I had no idea what was really happening here. And then I remember 1871 opening. I lived in River North at the time, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then I started hearing about some of the early success stories in Chicago. But honestly, it's not very well documented and covered, like just how much has been happening. I think 5 years from now, it's going to be very obvious that there's a ton happening in Chicago. But for me, culturally, I love Chicago in the Midwest, right? I'm from a small town in rural England. New York was a bit much for me when I go visit there. But I love the energy, and I love people seem pretty nice and friendly and collaborative. So compared with the middle market in my former life, where it's very sort of dog eat dog, cutthroat, it felt like a nice place to be. And then just that intersection of opportunity and I guess my interests. I think for me to have quit my job and moved to the Bay Area and become a VC, that would make no sense. But Chicago, it was like, okay, this is still an emergent opportunity. And the coastal funds, the more established funds, are definitely paying attention to the Series A and beyond. But this sort of pre-seed and seed layer where we like to play, it wasn't well served. And so I'm like, okay, let's lean in here. And I think people roll their eyes a little bit about how much sort of Midwest investors are revenue oriented, but I think that sort of, again, with my former lender mindset on understanding where the revenue is going to come from, it does help. We've invested pre-revenue and certainly earlier than many, but I think that the kind of businesses that are being built here are sort of pretty real robust businesses, not sort of
I would say revenue is probably a pretty important variable. I'm not putting myself in your shoes, but revenue or future revenue or predicting future revenue.
I think so.
Yeah,
it's not the only way to make money. I mean, I say I'm not really a tech investor. I don't invest in pure technology, right? I'm investing in tech-enabled businesses, and that doesn't sound as interesting, but really that's what most investors are doing here, I think.